right now on 10 News at 11.
A busy La Jolla street closed in fear of a bluff collapse, the major hassle it's causing for residents and beachgoers.
The race for San Diego's next mayor has begun.
I support the regulation of scooters.
The top issues getting boos and cheers from tonight's crowd.
Just start blowing, I'll tell you when to stop.
And police are hitting the bars in Escondido to warn people about drinking and driving while having fun at the same time.
Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
Concerns of a popular La Jolla street caving in. The discovery is prompting road closures, traffic woes, and parking problems, all during a busy Friday night.
Our 10 News reporter Anthony Perua is in La Jolla tonight, where this has impacted businesses and customers. Anthony.
Well, this is a busy time for businesses like a Brockton Villa. The restaurant is just up the street here, just past this roadblock. Now, they do have a sign out here that says the restaurant is open during construction, but there is a lot of work ahead. We've got some crews in from Texas working on this, and they hope that it won't keep customers away. The sights and sounds along La Jolla's Coast Boulevard is easily appreciated from the Brockton Villa restaurant.
Beautiful surroundings and such a lovely location.
The location for a wedding reception.
I told the bride and groom that they already made history for their wedding day.
Don Cole is talking about the emergency street closure outside because of what's happening beneath it. A viewer sent us this video of Cook's Crack, one of the many caves below. But here's what's worrying city crews. They took these pictures along that cave of what the earth under Coast Boulevard is doing. It is eroding, and they worry it could collapse. Cars that would normally drive this way diverted to Prospect Street instead, adding traffic to an otherwise already busy Friday night. With parking spots along Coast Boulevard gone, many drivers all had the same idea and flocked to valet parking.
I would think that's probably the best decision you can make tonight.
Brockton Villa had a sign outside the restaurant saying they regret the parking and traffic difficulties the road closure creates, thanking their customers for their efforts to dine with them.
I wore high heels not knowing that the road was going to be closed. I'm not looking forward to walking up that hill to get back to my car.
Now, the stabilization work is expected to last about 6 weeks. People do tell us that they are glad that the city crews caught this potential problem in time, though it is going to be tough out here for a while. We're reporting live tonight in La Jolla. Anthony Perua, 10 News.
Anthony, thank you. There are new disturbing allegations about accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein and members of his social circle. The allegations were discovered in newly unsealed documents from a now settled court case against Epstein's former associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. In it, Virginia Giuffre claims that Maxwell groomed her to be a sex slave when she was just 16 years old. She claims she was trafficked to have sex with some of his powerful friends, and among those, Giuffre names UK's Prince Andrew, former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson, and former Maine Senator George Mitchell. She explained how it worked to the Miami Herald.
The training started immediately. Give Jeffrey what he wants. A lot of this training came from Ghislaine herself.
All of the men deny the allegations. Epstein is awaiting trial in New York. While leaving the White House today, President Trump addressed the growing pressure for gun reform.
There's been no president that feels more strongly about the Second Amendment than I do. However, we need meaningful background checks so that sick people don't get guns.
The president did express optimism that he can get Republicans and the NRA on board with his plans, but Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell seemed less committed in an interview earlier this week.
We're going to begin the discussions during the August break, and when we get back, hopefully we'll be in a position to agree on things.
This is not the first time the president had promised stricter background checks. He supported the idea back in February of 2018 after the Parkland High School shooting.
Hundreds of newly released police records shine a light on a former San Diego police officer accused of sexually assaulting a detainee 5 years ago. Former officer Donald Moncrief was never criminally charged. In 2015, the city settled with the accuser for $250,000. The report showed Moncrief did not sexually assault her, but did drive her against her will to multiple locations. The report also said he lied to the sex crimes unit and used his position to text her. Moncrief later resigned. Moncrief's sergeant, Stephen Riddle, was also named in the report. There was investigation into what Riddle knew about the allegations and when he retired in 2015.
The San Diego mayor's race is heating up with the top 3 Democratic candidates squaring off tonight in a debate. Our 10 News reporter Matt Boone has the moments that brought cheers and jeers from the crowd.
The big theme of the night was housing and homelessness, and the candidates came prepared with answers.
I would tell you that I will move homeless services under the office of the mayor. Currently, it's outsourced to the Housing Commission. It sends a message to anyone that this is not a priority for this administration or for this city hall.
Assemblymember Todd Gloria put the onus on himself if elected to solve homelessness, while Councilmember Barbara Bree had a more collaborative approach, wanting to pressure the county for more help.
To send social workers out with iPads to talk to homeless individuals where they are, to send out social workers, not police officers.
But the biggest applause lines of the night came from political outsider and community activist Tasha Williamson, who pushed her platform for more police oversight.
Because we have been criminalized all our lives, and the time is up. The time is now. We are going to stop it. So we're going to be a sweeping sea of change when we talk about police accountability. Rogue officers do not belong here. We do not want them, and they will be having to look for another job somewhere else.
But it was the scooter issue that brought out the biggest punches.
A few days ago, I talked with Jean Regot, whose wife is in critical condition at UCSD with skull fractures and severe bleeding after falling off a scooter. I was in tears after I talked to him.
Bree then blamed Gloria for sponsoring state legislation that made it legal for adults not to wear helmets on scooters. He fired back.
You shouldn't politicize someone's tragedy to win a mayor's race. I want to be very clear. I support the regulation of scooters.
In downtown San Diego, Matt Boone, 10 News.
Governor Gavin Newsom came to San Diego today to push affordable health care.
You got to get the word out and make sure people are signing up.
The governor spent about an hour touring the 211 facility in Kearny Mesa. That's the number San Diegans can call to get information about new subsidies that extend to low and middle income households. The state is making about a $450 million investment. It would help families who buy their insurance through Covered California afford their premiums. Open enrollment for Covered California starts October 15th.
Keep going, and you're good.
Police hit the bars and restaurants in Escondido tonight to try and raise awareness about drinking and driving. Our 10 News reporter Travis Rice explains why officers were breathalyzing people with no strings attached.
Well, it's a way for people to see what their BAC is without consequence, and also a chance for them to maybe see that they don't know themselves as well as they do when they're drinking. As Friday night rolls in, so does Escondido PD.
Hit here and then we can go over to Plan 9.
But this operation isn't so much about handcuffs as it is education.
What we do is we ask them how many drinks they've had, and then we give them an opportunity to guess what their blood alcohol is.
Lieutenant Scott Walters says people want to know their limit.
Once we get that first person that's willing to give it a try and kind of see where they're at, we actually have people in the background that start raising their hand and telling us they want to be next. All right, here we go. Okay, you're good. All right, and it'll show right up here for us. Gives people a great way to kind of judge their level of intoxication, but it also opens the door for us to have a conversation about the impacts of drinking and driving. 0.029. Wow. 0.029. So a lot lower than what you thought.
It's a way for police to intervene in a more positive encounter that can end up saving lives.
We actually had an individual that came up that had been drinking, and she was curious to know where she was at. She felt that she was okay to probably drive home. And after she blew into the breathalyzer, she found out that she actually wasn't, and it was quite a surprise to her that she was at the level that she was. And so we actually prevented somebody that may have considered driving home that night to actually not do that.
In Escondido, Travis Rice, 10 News.
A teaching moment for some. And just into the newsroom, there has been a big development in the search for a 4-foot monitor lizard in Escondido. A reptile expert captured a lizard by spending more than 90 minutes waiting in a pond. That's where the lizard had been spotted by neighbors over the past several days. They believe there may be a second lizard because the one captured tonight was just 3 feet long.
The final panel of the new primary border fence was installed this afternoon. It stretches 14 miles from the ocean to the base of Otay Mountain. The original wall was about 30 years old. The transparent nature of that wall is designed that way to allow CBP officers to see what's happening on the other side of the border. In just the last few months, Border Patrol agents have been hit by rocks thrown from Mexico.